I'm legally insane. And here is a pile of Nintendo Switch games, one Xbox 360 game. I'm going to be taking all of these games on vacation with me. These are great games to take on the go, especially for vacation when you're visiting family and friends. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Why am I doing that? Because I got to get out of this city because I got the cops out looking for me. RCMP, CSIS, FBI, they're all looking. So I'm going to be laying low for a while. I'm going to be making a trip 69,000 miles away. And I'm going to bring these games with me. So let's find out why. I'm going to go through every game. I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing the games and why you might want to consider bringing these games with you the next time you also go on vacation. These are great games to bring on the go. I'm bringing 4 controllers with me. Let's check them out. By the way, some of these games are recent pickups, so they will be making an appearance in a future pickups video as well. So we're going to start off strong. This one is a frickin' gem. Now hear me out. This is Monopoly Madness. Well, actually it's 2 Monopoly games in one. One of them is standard Monopoly. What do they call it? Monopoly for the Switch. That game sucks. Don't even look at that game. That game right there, it sucks. Stop playing Monopoly. Don't even open that one. They threw it on there because they didn't think that you'd pay the $30 for this game otherwise. They tried to spice it up, make the parents more interested in purchasing it perhaps. Oh, 2 games in one. They're more likely to buy it, but in reality, this is one game. This is not a 2-in-1. Because it's also got Monopoly Madness. This is a brand new party game that whoever the hell owns Monopoly, Parker Brothers, if they still own Monopoly, they've done a hell of a job licensing this out to somebody who knows how to develop great party games. This is a party game. So let's get into what this is. This is a very difficult game to describe. Extremely difficult. It's often compared to Overcooked, but it's not really anything like Overcooked. But in terms of the pure chaos happening, I can see the comparison. I understand the comparison. You can also do free-for-all or teams. Free-for-all probably being the most chaotic and my highly recommended way of playing this game. And also, before I get too much into this, remember that this is a pick up and play game. I'm bringing this with me on vacation. I chose this for a reason. When I'm bringing a game on vacation, I'm going to visit old friends and family that I haven't seen in a long time because I need to lay low and hide out from the police. I don't tell them that part. They don't need to know that part because they might turn me in. But I need games that anybody can pick up and play. Hardcore gamers, non-gamers, grandmas, your mom. Your mom needs to be able to pick up a controller and play this with me. I love playing games with your mother. Yeah. It's a great time. Play games with her all the time, and she's not very good. So she needs nice and simple games. Your mother's not the brightest, let's be honest here, guys. She's not good at she can't play complicated games. So I'll be playing this with her, with your mother, and a bunch of my other friends. Okay, so the objective is to obtain as many properties as you can and upgrade the properties. That's the main objective. Everything happens in real time. It's not turn-based, and it's pure chaos. It's called Monopoly Madness, which is a very fitting title because it's pure freaking madness. You will never play anything so insane and so maddening as this game in your life. This is the type of game that's designed to turn you legally insane. If you want to become legally insane, this is how you do it. I've been legally insane for years, so it really has no effect on me. I revel in this kind of chaos. This is my everyday life. This is me 24/7. So I do great at these types of games. I love it. So the thing is, so while you're trying to buy properties and upgrade your properties, everything is happening all at once. You're also trying to collect money. You're trying to get electricity, water, utilities. You're collecting resources and money all the time. You're collecting community chests, which will provide power-ups. And the power-ups the power-ups are where the real frickin' madness happens. Because, and real chaos can happen. You get double teamed, you can get triple teamed, and they don't even need to coordinate it. It can just all happen all at once. You're off minding your own business. Oh, I'll collect some money over here. I'm doing well. I got properties. I got upgrades. Boom, somebody gets a power-up. They now destroy your property. You're over here in the corner. You're collecting money. You can't even defend your properties. You're off in the corner. They get a power-up. They destroy your properties. Guess what? Somebody else gets a power-up. They put your properties back up for auction. Now you don't even own the property. Then somebody else comes and buys your property. It's only been 3 seconds. This all happened within 2 or 3 seconds. What the hell is going on here? So it's real chaos. You're trying to watch multiple things at once, and there is a narrator with the game that'll try to help you and announce when certain events are taking place. Maybe a property's up for sale, something's happening. So they do try to guide you with the narrator. So they did a really good job, really. Now the game, some people complain that the game gets repetitive, and therefore it starts off really fun, but you'll get bored quickly. Okay, even if that's true, this game is dirt cheap. I paid 30 Canadian dollars on Amazon, shipped to my door, free shipping, Amazon Prime. You play this a couple times, you already got your money's worth. So why are you complaining? Even if you do get bored, even if your mother starts complaining and says, I'm bored of this, I'm fine with that. Okay, great. Well, number one, I'm not bored of it. So get the hell out of here. And number two, fine. I paid $30. I already got my money's worth. Like, what are you expecting? You're not going to get 5,000 hours of gameplay on Monopoly. Okay? I don't care how good it is. You're not going to get 5,000 hours of gameplay. And chances are you're not even going to play it for 100 hours of gameplay. 100 hours is a long time. That's a very lengthy RPG. You think you're going to play this for that long? I mean, you might, but it's not realistic. Another power-up that you can get, so all of these things can happen. Somebody destroys your property at once, then somebody puts your property up for auction, then somebody purchases your property, and then you know what else? Somebody might get another power-up, and now they're throwing you in jail. This can all happen in a matter of seconds, and I've been to prison. I don't want to go back. I ain't going back. Prison's not a very fun place to be.
A dinosaur, a dog, and a man race down a construction zone toward a property. The dog wins. Characters run around the city collecting cash, electricity, and water into sacks. Properties are upgraded. The penguin transforms a burger shack into a restaurant. Hearts fill his eyes. The bearded man bulldozes the restaurant. The penguin tears up, then screams. A race car driver beams down from a UFO. Caption, Monopoly Madness.
So, I summarized this game as absolute, pure, legal insanity. 10 out of freaking 10. I'm taking this with me. I'm going to be visiting old friends. We're going to fire this baby up. And that's another reason I'm bringing my Switch with me. The Switch is a very mobile console. It's very lightweight, very small. I'm going to be taking the console itself, in handheld mode. I'm going to be throwing that in my carry-on bag. And then the console itself, I'm going to be wrapping up in bubble wrap, like the docking station. I'm going to wrap that up in bubble wrap. I'm going to have that in my main suitcase. So I'm not necessarily worried about it getting damaged because it is going to be padded by clothing. I suppose if I'm really worried about it, I might put it in my carry-on bag, maybe wrap it up in bubble wrap still and carry it in my carry-on bag. So if you're worried about bringing an entire Switch, you have options. It's not really a problem to bring it on a plane, in my opinion. And I'm bringing 4 controllers on top of that. Speaking of party games, I'm also bringing Gang Beasts, one of the best party games ever made. Still sealed because guess what? I haven't had an opportunity to play it multiplayer yet. This is not a single player game. This is a party game, party fighting game, 3D fighting game. And this was originally a PC game. I like to think that most people know about this game, but even to this day, it's still a hidden gem for many, believe it or not. It does have a catch because the PC version started off as being 6-player and they've since updated it, and I believe it's 8-player now. And this one, for some reason, they cheaped out, some piss poor programmers or something, because it's only 4-player. Which is a real frickin' shame, because the Switch can easily do 8-player. You can play Smash Bros. 8-player. Why can't you play Gang Beasts 8-player? So this game is meant to be funny. It's got ragdoll physics. So you're all funny, stuffed animal looking type characters. You're playing on these crazy maps. So for example, one of the levels, you're on 2 moving trucks and you're trying to jump across and throw people off the trucks. There's other platforms where you're on like a platform hanging by some wires, and you can, as you start fighting, the wires will start to break, so you're hanging off the platform. But where the comedy comes in is the ragdoll physics, meaning it's very difficult to perform moves. And it's very chaotic. And you don't need to be good. It's a pick up and play game. That's why it's so freaking good. Anybody can play it, including your mother. And they can have a blast doing it. And they can win on top of that. So 10 out of 10. This is another 10 out of 10 party game. I'm bringing this one with me. We're going to skip the next one. We'll go into a single player game now. This is Tactics Ogre Reborn. This is based on the Super Nintendo Tactics Ogre game, which also the PlayStation 1 game was then based on. So, okay, technically this is based on the PlayStation 1 version of the Super Nintendo game. So this game goes way back. First version came out in 1995, predating Final Fantasy Tactics. This is a tactics, turn-based tactical RPG. Okay? Turn-based tactics RPG, similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. But this came out before Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's based on, or part of the Ogre Battle series and storyline. So if you played Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, you will love this game because all of the same classes are there. It's got the classes are basically equivalent to the Final Fantasy job system within Final Fantasy Tactics. So very similar, but instead of a job system, they have classes. So I wrote down a couple to give you some examples on how this works. And this is what makes it so unique and very different from Final Fantasy Tactics, and also the story included. It's got its own story, epic storyline, medieval based. The creator of the story said that he took a lot of inspiration from mythology and also the Roman Empire. So his political structure and political storyline here took inspiration from the medieval times, to be more specific, and the Roman Empire with some mythology mixed in. Okay, so your classes, you have standard classes, which some examples include knights, necromancers, dragoons. So this is like your basic class, standard class system. You've got demi-humans. Example is a songstress who obviously sings songs and performs different attacks and manipulations and enhancements through song. Pretty, obvious based on the title. There's a dragon class. You can get your standard dragons, flood dragon, which is obviously water dragon. You've got frost dragons, pretty self-explanatory dragons, but there's also a hydra, a dark dragon. So there are some unique dragons as well. There's a beast class. You can get characters like Cyclops or Griffins. So beasts, just like the Beast Master in Ogre Battle. There's a Golem class, and all of these crossover. These are from the Ogre Battle universe. So these are very recognizable classes if you've played the game before. So that would include, Beast class, Cyclopses and Griffins, Golems, self-explanatory. It's just a bunch of different types of golems, clay golems, iron golems, pretty standard stuff. And there's also a unique or special class where you can get very unique characters like lords, a princess, a dark priest, a paladin. These are usually one-time characters, so you'll only have one of them. They're very specialty. And in some cases, you will get a certain character based on what branch of the storyline that you've gone through. I'm assuming that's the way it works here, because that's also how it worked in Ogre Battle 64, Ogre Battle for the Super Nintendo. So certain decisions that you make, certain people that you hire, certain towns that you liberate will give you a certain character class, but you can't get them all. You have to make decisions. Okay, if you do this and get this guy, then you can't get this guy. That's what they do sometimes. So very cool game. I'm going to be playing this on the plane and also during downtime, during the layover. I'm going 69,000 miles away here, guys. I'm going to have plenty of time that I need to kill. And what's the best way to kill a lot of time? You're going to want a good RPG, something that you can really get absorbed in. You're not going to want to sit and play for 20 minutes and then turn it off type of game. This is the type of game that you're looking for. Good RPG, something like an Octopath Traveler. But I'm already at the end of Octopath Traveler. I've only got one boss to beat, which is actually the bonus boss, so I'm not going to take that with me. I'm going to take this. I haven't played this yet. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to make the plane ride very exciting. The layovers are going to be exciting. I've got some headphones. Did I bring those with me? No. I bought some brand new Panasonic, very high quality headphones. I'm ready to go.
The crown jewel of fantasy tactical RPGs returns. Tactics Ogre, Reborn. Lead a party of resistance fighters as the daring hero Denim Pavel, alongside his sister Katua and childhood friend Vice. Denim is Valeria's last hope.
Always an eye for an eye. This war will never end.
Your adventure begins with a test of personality and your allegiance to one of the Valerian gods. Choose wisely. These answers will influence your path. Immerse yourself in a compelling storyline where the decisions you make will alter the fate of those around you and shift the course of Valeria's history.
Next up, we got another party game. Very, very Valet. I've mentioned this one before. It was very cheap at the time. I don't know if you can still find it because I no longer see it at the Walmarts. Back in the day, you could get this at Walmart. 30 bucks Canadian. They were probably selling it for 20 bucks in America. Probably any American Walmart probably had this for 20 bucks, 19.99. Maybe $24.99, but I bet you they had it for 20. Brand freaking new. I think they're sold out. I haven't seen it in stores since. Check Amazon, check eBay. Do not overpay for it because it's a very simplistic party game. So you don't want to be paying, 60 bucks for it. I think that you could find a cheap copy. And basically it's 4-player. It's meant to be funny. You are all valet drivers. You're all on a team. And customers are coming in and they need their cars parked. They're coming into a restaurant or a hotel. You need to grab the cars, speed over to the parking lot, park the cars, and continue the process. But you're on a time limit. There's a friggin' backlog of cars coming in. They're coming in hot. They're coming in fast. There's traffic coming. You got to dodge traffic. You got to drive like a frickin' maniac to get these cars parked. But the thing is, you also have to return the cars to the customers. When they come out from the restaurant, they want their cars. You got to go pick them up. You got to bring their car right back to them and pick them up. And it gets really, really chaotic and really funny. That's part of the whole gimmick of the game. And you get highlights at the end where the game will show you the funniest moments. Great party game. Pick up and play. Anybody can play it. The controls are not too complicated. 10 out of 10 in my books. Here's another great freaking gem. I've mentioned this one before too. Blade Strangers. This is a fighting game. This is my favorite fighting game, arguably, of all time. Because this is a pick up and play game. And by the way, Day 1 edition came with this keychain and a booklet. Booklet even has the moves in it. But why it's a pick up and play game and why it's the best fighting game ever made is because all of the moves are one button. So it's similar to Smash Bros. Down A does something, down B does something, over A does something, back A does something, up A does something. Everything does something by just simply hitting a directional button and one button. Very simplistic controls. It's similar to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is the only game that can give this game a run for its money. It's an exact clone, really. And it has a whole bunch of indie characters. You've got Code of Princess characters, because this is a Nicalis game. Nicalis. So they brought in a whole bunch of their franchise characters. You've got Code of Princess characters. You've got the main character from 1001 Spikes. You've got Gunvolt characters. You've got Binding of Isaac in here. You can be Binding of Isaac, main character. Shovel Knight makes an appearance as a guest. You've got Cave Story characters. Gunvolt, did I mention Gunvolt? You've got a lot of variety. Wish they had more characters. Plenty of characters. And you know what? I played this online too. Believe it or not, there's people that do show up. You can find people online. It was a miracle. I didn't think I could find anyone online. I beat the hell out of some kid online. I made him rage quit so hard, he never returned to his Nintendo Switch account ever again. I'm pretty sure he smashed the game and sold his Nintendo Switch the next day. This kid rage quit like you wouldn't believe, because I am the king of this game. I can't be beat. I cannot be beat. I'm so cheap. I found the world's cheapest move. I'll put up a clip because I think it's the funniest thing in the freaking. I think it's the funniest thing in the world. I laughed so hard when I when I beat that guy. I find the cheapest move, and when I find the cheapest move in the game, I spend every fighting game I play. I spend the whole game just looking for the cheapest move in the game. I'll be every character until I finally find that move, and I found it. I found it. So I'll be playing this with friends. This is a pass the controller game. You get a bunch of friends around, pass the controller, and just duke it out. Very simple, very fun, just like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's not competitive. It's not overly competitive because it's just for fun, and it is fun. Even when you lose, you're having fun. Last game on the list is the Sega Genesis Classics Collection. So this is an upgraded version of the old Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection. In this version, you had 40 games plus some unlockables. Okay? This game, you have 50 games. And I think there's unlockables, but I'm not sure because I haven't unlocked anything yet. So, but it says that there's over 50 games. So I'm assuming that that means there's unlockables because this one has exactly 40 games until you unlock the games. But I do want to quickly mention this game has a major flaw. It's missing Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. So it has a whole bunch of new additions compared to this version, but it is, just know that it does not have Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. Sega liked to cheap out on that one because they wanted you to buy the Sonic Origins collection. Thanks a lot, Sega. I don't want to buy the Sonic Origins collection, and I refuse to buy the Sonic Origins collection. I do want to also quickly mention that this game, the unlockables are actually really good. You can unlock Alien Soldier. You can unlock Golden Axe for the Sega Master System, which is a hidden gem, by the way. Very expensive game as well. I wrote down the name. It's called Golden Axe Warrior. That's what it was called. Friggin' awesome game. There's tons of unlockables. There's the arcade version of Alien Syndrome. So I'm not bringing that with me because the Xbox 360 isn't exactly a mobile console. But this one has a whole bunch of new games like Toe Jam and Earl 1 and 2. They added Light Crusader, Eternal Champions. That's a good party game, passive controller game. It's not that good though because the moves aren't very simple. Blade Strangers is better, but that was a very popular game back in the day. They have Crackdown, one of the best two-player co-op games ever made. I have that CIB. But the reason I'm really bringing this is actually more specifically for the game Gain Ground, because I want to play that with some friends of mine. It's a great two-player co-op game. It's one of the best games ever made in general. And I have it on the collections. And I don't even own it for the regular Sega Genesis. But again, I'm not going to bring my Sega Genesis. Like, I'm not bringing 10 consoles with me. I can only bring one. And the Nintendo Switch fits the bill for the best option. And it's also very lightweight. So Nintendo Switch wins by default. This game has over 50 games on it. I can play other games too, Streets of Rage. Maybe a buddy or two wants to play that. We're going to be doing a game night. So, but in particular, I'm bringing it for Gain Ground. I can play that with your mother all day. Your mother loves Gain Ground. Oh yeah, the other thing is they added a bunch of new features so you can rewind the game now. There's save states, but there's always been save states, but just know that there's still save states. You can rewind the game at any moment, which is great for Biohazard Battle, other shooter games, especially shooter games. I don't recommend doing that in a two-player co-op game because, I don't know, I just feel like that's a little bit too much on the cheating. But just play the game normal. You can use save states and go back to certain levels. But just know that there is a rewind mode and there is some sort of mirror mode that they call it, which I think makes you play the level backwards. I haven't actually tried it. Just know that it exists, and I do highly recommend getting this version. I was hesitant at first as well because I said, you know what, screw you guys. Like, you've already gotten my money. I paid for this. You released this on every single console. You're constantly releasing the same friggin' Sega Genesis collection on every console, and you're making me rebuy it. So I was pissed off at first, especially when they took away Sonic 3. But then I said, okay, you know what? They added in a couple of games. They added in a couple of features. All right, I'll do it. Plus, I want to play Gain Ground on my Nintendo Switch. So these are all of the games that I'm taking with me on vacation because I need to lay low. I'm going to be gone for 9 days. I think that's enough time. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games and Nintendo Switch games. If you can't tell, I love my Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is one of the best consoles ever made, if not the best. And I also think the Nintendo Switch is going to be very fondly looked after in the future. Very fondly looked at in the future, and there's going to be a lot of collectors. You have no idea how hard people are going to be collecting for this console. It's going to be the NES on steroids in the future. So many kids grew up on this console. So many adults came back out of gaming retirement and bought Nintendo Switches. And I know that because I'm in a group with thousands of people in it for gamers, Nintendo gamers over the age of 30. So we're talking OG gamers only. They ban people that are under 30 from that group. If you try to join, you're like, hey guys, I'm 29. I'd like to join your fine group here. They'll ban you. They tried to ban me. They thought I was under 30 when I first joined because I looked under 30. And I had to fight them and let them know, hey guys, like, I'm not kidding around here. I'm over 30. Let me join the friggin' group. And all of these OGs came out of gaming retirement, myself included. I had no intention of getting a new console ever again. But I got the Nintendo Switch. I finally got it. And I've never looked back. The second I got it, I never looked back. I felt like a kid in a candy store all over again. Like a kid in a Toys R Us, looking at all the games, going to the Rogers Video, renting games. That feeling of a new console came back. And I haven't had that in years because I really was only doing retro previously. But the Nintendo Switch will be considered retro in the future. And it's going to be collectible.